In this season of Rezero, we've been introduced to new archbishops, with them all being very overpowered. So let's go over who they are, how strong they are, and their witch factors. Now starting this season, we were introduced to Wrath and Lust. This is our first time seeing them, but we got to see two that we saw last season, which were Gluttony and Greed. They seem to have a big plan this season, but starting off with Wrath, also known as Serious Romanticanti, she was shown to be extremely powerful, being able to link the emotions and damage across multiple people. This makes her extremely hard to defeat, since if you do beat her, tons of casualties are going with her. As for why she can do this, is because of her authority of Wrath. Basically, after sharing her emotions or senses to others, she can take over them or resonate a certain emotion between them, like she did with Subaru. Along with linking her emotions, she can choose to link an injury or death to everyone linked. She was shown to wield a chain, and she also has fire control, which looked extremely powerful, but did no damage to Greed. As for how she got her witch factor, it's unknown. Actually, the only thing we know about her past is that her hometown was destroyed by a witch hunt long ago. She probably felt very angry, making her compatible with Wrath. But from watching the show, we got to see her personality, and she's obviously crazy, going on about love and everyone's hearts becoming one. Every witch factor is different depending on the person, so that feeling is probably why she got her ability to link emotions and pain. Another bit of information about her is that she's obsessed with Satella, spending her time stalking him and trying to earn his affection. But I mentioned witch factors a second ago, but what are they? A witch factor is an authority shaped into existence based on a compatible holder's nature or desire. Due to this, the power the user gains is different depending on the person. Our next Archbishop is the other new one this season, Lust. Its Archbishop is Capella, whom we've seen in the last episode. She has a truly cruel personality, seeing others as meat sacks, having the same name as the former princess of Lagunica, who died at a very young age. She seems to have control over Elsa and Melly, and not much is known about her past. The only thing that we know is that she's hiding away deep trauma. But as for her authority, she's able to transform herself or others into various beings. This was shown when she transformed the citizens into flies, then transformed herself into various people or even a dragon. Due to this, we don't know her true form. This transformation ability can be used to transform only a single body part, or even be used as a way of healing herself, since she can transform the injured body parts into uninjured ones. She also has a black flame ability that consumes everything and can't be put out by water. One thing we saw that she possesses is dragon blood mixed into her blood. Due to this, her blood contains a great curse that if poured on people have different effects, such as making them very ill or more. Now for Greed's Archbishop Regulus, he seems invincible. We saw him take multiple attacks and not one injured him. The reason for this is because of his witch factor abilities, Lionheart. It allows him to stop the flow of time of his own body, preventing physical attacks from interacting with him. This isn't limited to himself, since he can stop the flow of time of objects as well. He's very overpowered, being able to make himself invincible, also having unrivaled power of attack and defense. It's so insane that he can completely ignore any and every form of damage dealt to him. This ability had a huge drawback with the fact that he could only use this ability for 5 seconds at a time, or he would feel an unbearable amount of pain. Though this drawback was erased via his ability Little King, which allowed him to freeze his own heart and use all of his wives' hearts to keep him alive. This got rid of the 5-second drawback, making him overpowered, which is the reason he accumulated over 200 wives. The way this ability could be used offensively is by taking something like dirt or sand, stopping its time and throwing it at the enemy. This caused it to be cut off from the flow of time and pass through whatever it collided with. We got to see this used against Subaru's leg. Now for his background, more than 100 years ago, living with his family at the time, he got chosen to be a Sin Archbishop and received Greed's witch factor. He then went on to cause havoc, killing all the villagers in his village and even his own family. As for his personality, he's a hypocrite who always contradicts himself, saying whatever he wants to justify his actions and accusing others of violating his rights. Next we have the Sin Archbishops of Gluttony. Yes, there are multiple and their siblings, Lai, Roy, and Rui. Roy is the one Subaru was fighting last episode, while Lai was the one at the gate. I believe Lai is the one who stole Rim's name, but they are essentially able to eat the name and memories of their target. Those who had their names eaten had their existence erased from the world, leaving no one to remember a single thing about them. Their bodies lie there as a shell with no conscience. They also have an eclipse ability that allows them to use their victims' memories and harvest their skills and knowledge. The last ability they have is Solar Eclipse, which lets them transform into the targets they took names from. As for their backstory, not much is known. It just says that at some point in their lives they obtained the authority of Gluttony. They each represent a different aspect of gluttony, with Lai representing gourmet, Roy representing bizarre eating, and their younger sister who they met when she possessed Lai's body representing satiation. I say who they met because since birth she was trapped in the corridor of memories. She's the real sister of the two, but since she was confined, they had no idea she existed. I have no idea why gluttony could have 3 archbishops instead of 1. An archbishop we are all familiar with is Sloth's Patelgius. He was the first that we were shown and wielded the unseen hand. It allowed him to summon countless invisible hands that were strong enough to tear through flesh. One thing that made him OP was that he had multiple vessels he could possess, making it extremely hard to kill him, since you have to defeat all of them before actually being able to end him. Other than these, he does have an earth magic spell that he could use to protect himself by summoning a dome. As for his background, we saw a bit of it in Emilius' memories. He was one of the founders of the witch cult roughly 400 years ago, becoming a leader and an archbishop without even having an authority, going on to meet Echida, tutor Beatrice, and meet Fortuna and Emilia. Unfortunately, in a turn of events against greed, he ended up taking in the witch factor and killing Fortuna, which changed him forever. Now for the rest, Envy doesn't have one since Satella is still alive. I guess the closest to being Envy's is Subaru. As for Pride, it currently doesn't have one as well, but Strive Wallachia was its former archbishop. It doesn't say what his factor did when it was in his use, but it seems he fell in battle and ended up getting consumed by his own dragon before an enemy black dragon could eat him. He seemed to be a man who was very prideful, disliking being told what to do by others. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching another, like and subscribe.